live
Yeah.
here for the thousands of viewers out there.
Yeah, right.
Do you think that? I don't think that many people look at it, do you?
I
He's
wouldn't.
being sarcastic.
Yeah.
I hear you, Rick. I caught it instantly as soon as it broke. It didn't even hit the floor, Rick. I caught it.
Huh?
We'll probably get a hit, one hit today.
Who?
I don't know.
Oh, God.
Somebody might come on.
Somebody without a whole lot else to do.
Somebody will.
Oh, God.
The mayor said, who? Somebody.
We're gonna call our meeting to order.
Eric, you coming in with us?
Sorry, Mayor should have just banged the gavel. Where is the gavel?
I'd like to welcome you to our council meeting this morning. I would ask if you have cell phones to please turn them off at this time. We will stand and have pledge of allegiance by Councilmember Lathan and prayer by Councilmember Reed.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you would like to pray with us, would you please remain standing? God of justice and mercy, thank you for the gift of life and the opportunity to serve the people of our city. Help us to act with character and conviction. Help us to listen with understanding and goodwill. Help us to speak with charity and restraint. Give us a spirit of service. Remind us that we are stewards of your authority. Guide us to be leaders of your people. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. We don't have any minutes for approval this morning. Is there anything that need to be added to our agenda this morning? Before we go into our agenda, I'd just like to say a couple of things. First thing I'd like to do is congratulate Councilmember Reed. She was on national television earlier this week. I don't know how many of you got a chance to see her, but she represented her church and her community in Madison well. Job well done.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And the second thing I'd like to talk about is most of us are getting emails concerning our stature here in our community. Of course, this is a call meeting and not a work session. So at some point in time, we will have a work session to talk about the stature. But we won't talk about it in this meeting this morning, because I'd like for all our council members to be present when we do talk about it. And at this time, Karen, I'd like to also thank Karen for working on our budget for us. And she has kept us up to speed. She didn't have a hidden agenda during this COVID-19 that we've been facing and look like we still will be facing it. We thank you for the job that you've done in getting us to this point of adopting our budget for the 2021 fiscal year. We know that we are here this morning to adopt our budget for the fiscal 2021 year. And I'm sure she has talked to us. We've had, I guess, about maybe 3 public hearings. And we've had a chance to ask all the questions that needed to be asked. So this morning, I was just asking us to do to adopt the budget so we can sign the resolution.
I so move.
Second.
Are there any more discussion? All in favor, show of hands. Opposed is none. The budget for the fiscal year 2021 has been adopted. And again, thank you, Karen. Thank all our council members.
And
Thank you.
for me.
Thank you.
Emergency declaration, 1501 Fairgrounds Road. Is that you, Karen?
Yes, sir, it is. The roof at the municipal building is in desperate need of replacing.
Mm-hmm.
The roof membrane is in extreme extremely bad condition, causing multiple leaks throughout the building. It's beyond repair. It's beyond repair. This past week, we even had standing water in the building after a hard rain, even up underneath the leased copy machine. We are considering this to be an emergency. If we wait and go through the bidding process, we can actually risk more damage, irreversible damage to the building. And you have a standard construction agreement in front of you with Bracewell Construction. They have actually just recently did 2 roofing jobs on 2 of our facilities, the CVB building and the Madison water plant. They do outstanding work. And they were able to quote a cheaper price per square foot because of the size of this building. And so we are asking Mayor and Council to approve this as an emergency to be able to correct the issues that are going on at that facility.
And I believe this is the first time that a roof has been put on that building since it's been there.
Correct.
Right, so it's really, we know it's time, we know it's time.
Yes, the roof is actually about 12 years old. The building
Yeah.
was built in 2008.
Mhm.
It probably should have lasted a little bit longer than this.
Mhm.
The material and the roof that is going to be put on should last about 25 years or so, which is about average for a roof.
So will there be any help from the insurance company sometime when the roof or in this?
In this situation, no, sir. This is more of just a maintenance item
Mhm.
for a facility. If it
Mhm.
was damaged by hail or anything like that, then
Mhm.
yes, we would look at the insurance company, but not in this situation.
Thank you so much. And I think our council member can understand the emergency situation. We do have funds set up for emergency situations such as this.
Yes,
You
and
know.
this actually will be spread out probably amongst all the funds because
Mhm.
that facility houses
Mhm.
all departments of the fund.
We certainly understand the need. Are there any questions for Karen? If not, if we could get a motion to approve this emergency declaration for our building on the Fairground Road.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the agreement with Braswell Construction for new roof at 1501 Fairground Road, not to exceed price of $65,845.
Second.
Are there any more discussion? All in favor, show of hands. Opposed, is none, to vote unanimously. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We also have before us this morning several contract resolutions for our CHIP grant policy. We know Monica does this probably once every three or 4 years. These grants is to help homes in our community that can stand some improvement. And Councilmember Reed serves on this board, and she can tell us the effect that this grant has in our community. You just want to take a moment, Councilmember Reed, and tell us?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. This grant has had an enormous effect in our community. The CHIP grant stands for the Community Housing Improvement Program. They go in and we have different people to come in and bid on the homes that are in need of repairs. It is not for beautification. It is for the safety of homeowners. So we've had several homes. The last 2, we had 2 grants the last time. We had the CBDG and the CHIP grant. This time we have the CHIP. So we should have maybe about 6 or 7 homes, but they will have to come in and apply for this grant. But it's really good. It's really good.
And I think probably need to add too, Councilmember Reed, that they have to pay a percentage, is that right?
Yes, 3%.
It's not free. They have
It
to
is
pay a
not free.
percentage.
It's 3%.
if they
That's
receive
exactly
these
right.
grants.
3% is
But
what
it
they
has
need to
been a
pay.
tremendous big help in our community.
It has. It's
Tremendous
a
big help.
tremendous help for the elderly who can't afford to repair their homes, or for some single parents that have kids that have been in their homes for a while and just didn't have the funds. So I'm really grateful for Monica chasing this grant.
Right.
Really grateful.
We thank her
For the
committee,
community.
and we say all the time, we are proud of the work our DDA, what the DDA staff do here in our city. We're proud
Yes,
of
the GIG team
what
is.
they do. So if we can get a motion to approve the contract community home investment program CHIP grant agreement.
Mr. Mayor, could I just ask Carrie if she has kind of off the top of her head a rough idea of the number of residential units that we have assisted with this program last year?
Well, now it's
Approximately.
probably about 2 years ago now. Approximately about 15 to 18 homes, but that was with CDBG and the CHIP
And-
grant. So with the CHIP by itself, I would say between 6 to 8. 6 to 8, depending on the home, because once they get inside of the home, they go in and see what's needed.
Mhm.
So it depends on what's needed. So they don't want to start on a home and stop in the middle of the process. So it depends on how much is needed in that particular home.
And as I recall from a couple of tours, these are not cosmetic improvements. These
No.
are health and safety improvements
Yes.
such as
Right.
plumbing and
Yes.
electrical.
It's not for beautification, as I said earlier, it's definitely for safety. Wiring or electrical, as you said, plumbing, different things that they need that they just didn't have the funds to do.
Yeah,
So
thank
they
you.
come in and they apply. You're welcome.
Is there any more questions? If not, we can get a motion to approve the contract for the Community Home Investment Program.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Second,
Are there any more discussion? All in favor, show of hands. Opposed, none. Vote unanimously. Item D, resolution CHIP grant policies and procedures. We could get a motion to approve that as well.
so moved.
Second.
All in favor, is there any more discussion? All in favor, show of hands. Opposed, none. The vote unanimously. The resolution CHIP grant
Mr.
charges.
Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I'm assuming then that we have given you the right to go ahead and sign this.
After this, we will.
And
Yes,
that
sir.
You'll be able to sign it.
Yes.
Right,
We'll
I
get-
can't sign until after we approve all of these.
Just want a verification of for myself.
E, resolution CHIP grant Georgia statutes.
Statutes. So moved.
Second.
There any more discussion? All in favor, show of hands.
Just did that one.
Opposed, none. Vote unanimously. F, resolution CHIP grant property value limits.
So moved.
Second.
There any more discussion? All in favor, show of hands. Opposed, none. The vote unanimously. G,
So moved.
contract for professional service.
Second.
Are there any more discussion? All in favor, show of hands. Opposed, none. The vote unanimously. And in fact, it's not on our agenda this morning, but if we can get a motion for the mayor to sign these contracts. I think I have to sign them today.
What item or what are we talking about on this one, Mr. Mayor? I got lost.
On all of the CHIP
CHIP.
grants.
All these are CHIP grants.
Oh, okay.
The
Mr.
mayor
Mayor.
needs to sign.
All right.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I believe when we first presented the CHIP grant a
Mhm.
couple of meetings ago, I think we authorized you to sign
Okay, good deal.
everything, and now this is just the
Let's
individual
Get
documents.
it in order. Thank you so much.
But if you guys want to do it just as a point of clarification, that's fine as well.
It's already done. You already have a record of it, right? So,
Yes.
so we're good to go. Wow, I wish all our meeting was like this. Just go ahead.
We missed one. We didn't.
Are there an unfinished business we need to talk about?
We didn't do the airport, did we?
I'm sorry, I didn't have that on.
I know we didn't.
G?
I think that's what,
I'm sorry, got a Madison Municipal Airport ground lease, MRK Aviation LLC. Carrie, you have that, Carrie?
Yes, sir, the ground lease, this is a standard ground lease for the airport hangars. This document was created a while back by Joe Reitman, Attorney Joe Reitman. This company, MRK Aviation LLC, is going to be occupying half of a hangar that was owned by Consolidated Holdings. And so they need this in place to be able to close on the facility. And basically it goes by the square foot of the building or the amount that he's occupying. And it's 5 cents per square foot, which is billed to them on a monthly basis. the city of Madison owns the ground that these hangars are sitting on, and this is giving them the right to actually have their hangar on our property.
Okay.
The
So is
hangars
that-
are privately owned.
So is that price is sort of agreed upon, and we're just approving that price? I mean, has that price been looked at? Or is this, if Joe did this contract, this is somewhat of an old contract?
Yes, sir, and there
Maybe
has,
Ed could say, would airport values have changed in the past year or two?
But it's pretty much a standard contract, I understand.
it is,
Yeah.
and there has been some discussion about, looking at this and trying to get maybe some updates to it. We would do that at a future date. The Attorney Carter did review this and had no issues with it and thought that it was a pretty standard contract for the airport hangar leases.
Did you have an opinion, Ed, on the pricing? Do you know enough about the airport real estate to render an opinion?
Not without looking into it.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go off the top of my head, which I don't ever do. I could go in and.
That's a smart
But for
approach.
ground leases, it's not similar to if they were leasing the building, it would be probably $5 a square foot or more. But this is just the ground that it sits on. And Eric, they're responsible for the maintenance of their own hangar. So really, it wouldn't add much to our budget to raise it up. Usually long-term ground leases go for 99 years and you pay so much. And I think this is a convenience item, and I think it serves our community. But, you know,
How many hangars we have out there, you know? I should know, but I don't. Anybody know?
There's probably currently around 10 or 12.
Okay, that's pretty good. If we can get a motion then to approve this Madison Municipal Airport ground lease, MRK Aviation.
So moved.
Second.
There any more discussion? All in favor, show of hands. Opposed, none, the vote unanimously.
I abstain, Mr. Mayor. I don't
Okay.
feel I have enough information at this point.
Okay, that's fine.
This will also be a contract that you will sign as well.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Are there any unfinished business we need to talk about? We do know that today would be the day we would normally be leaving for our GMA convention in Savannah. But it's gonna all be virtual, starting
It is.
today, I think, and Monday. And I hope all of you have the link that you can link into, to see what's going on.
Do you have meetings scheduled yourself as your position in the GMA for?
We do,
You-
I do. The LPC Policy Committee will meet. And we've already sort of did that earlier, you know, so just got a little small video that'll take place. But I think you, Ashley has the link to it if you don't have the link to it.
Yes, I believe I forwarded that email to everyone last week.
You did.
So if you're still interested and you want to go through and look at classes, I believe it's all free to
Yeah.
participate in. So there's still time to sign up, I believe, if you want to.
I think we also need to just mention too, we do know that this COVID virus is on the rise again. And I think we may have spectators coming in on our next council meeting. And I think it'd be wise we let them know in advance that they need to will have to wear a mask.
Masks are definitely going to be mandatory.
Yeah, it'll be mandatory that they wear,
Especially with the way numbers have been going
right,
up.
wear a mask. And we don't know what's gonna happen in the future, you know, they may start closing.
Back
We don't
down.
know what's gonna happen, you know. I know the banks are still closed, and looks like they're gonna be closed for a while, you know.
what's the number? It was 44 the last time I looked at it.
Here in Morgan
46.
County,
It's
Yeah, it was
46.
41 for a long time.
45 or 46, I believe.
46.
so
46.
it's rising every other day,
Mhm.
I guess, so. Just wanna take precautions, you know, just wanna take
So to
precautions.
reiterate, Mr. Mayor, our next council meeting will be on the 13th. It will be open to the public and with mandatory mask requirements.
Well, I mean, I guess I don't know if I can make it mandatory.
Yeah, that's what
but
I was wondering.
strongly encouraged.
Encouraged, and that would be mask, I would assume, outside.
I'm
the
looking in
door.
to see if
Yeah,
I can
Make sure that,
get.
And I
the
think
packet.
Ed has a DDA meeting in here next week, and it's open to the public, and I think your wording on the city website is strongly encouraged, or wording something like that. So you can let us know how it goes.
I will. We probably won't have, we never have really many people
Yeah.
from the public.
Well, that's 'cause you do it at 8 in the
those
morning.
meetings, but we haven't been able to sit down face to face and really discuss things. And with what's going on, I told Monica I felt it was kind of important that the entire DDA get together. And, you know, we've got a lot going on, and hopefully lots of it's gonna come to conclusion here, you know, resolution and conclusion here real shortly. And the middle school project's really going well, and I want to keep it going well, so I just felt we
Thank
needed
you.
to have a face-to-face. It's easy to talk, you know, on, when you're doing a Zoom meeting or whatever, but you can't really read people. I'm talking about myself, okay? I like to be able to see them and see what they're saying and how they're saying it and hear how they're saying it, because, you know, it's very important to get all those opinions in and try to make everything facilitate and work as one unit. So I want to do this for this time. We may go back to Zoom meetings, but it's important for us to sit down face to face.
and hopefully maybe we can do it at a work session, invite the DDA board to a work session.
Okay.
And so we can have some time to really talk to them about what's going on. And I'm excited about what's happening over at the middle school.
I am also.
I think the college that's going there, they seem to be excited as well. You know,
Yeah, they
so
are. I think they are also.
Have a lot to look forward to.
Well, they're very excited. I thank all the ones that came to the signing. Thank you for being there. And at this point in time, I have to thank the city council for all the support they've given the DDA while I've been on the DDA. There's a lot of cities that don't get that kind of support for their DDA. And I think it shows a commitment from this council and the people that are here to work towards bettering the entire community, not just a portion of the community, but economically develop and help every part of the community.
Yes.
And so I thank the council for that.
Thank you. I would like to also thank our chief and assistant chief and their staff for working diligently. We've had a youth rally march on last Friday. It was very peaceful, it was successful. The young people did an excellent job. And I'd like to thank our chief and his staff for being with us all the way. Thank you so much. Are there any comments that you would like to say to us, Chief?
Well, I actually really and truly would like to thank the community who's participated in the 3 events that we've had, because including the youth, they took time to make an appointment and come speak with us, see what they needed to do to make sure that the rallies that they had and the prayer vigils that they had were in compliance with what the city required, and then to make sure that we were all on board as far as what they wanted to do. And everything we've had has been very peaceful and organized, and that's made our job easier, and we're very much appreciated for that.
You know, Mr. Mayor, I think it's, as we all know, it's really a difficult time for law enforcement, and I'm sure all of us here at the council and mayor are very proud of our police department here in Madison. I think they do a fine job, and it's a challenging time, and I feel for the difficult job you do and the importance of that job.
And I just hope that this does not hinder people to apply for jobs on our police department, our sheriff department, because of what's going on in the world. You know, all cities are not alike, and all officers are not alike. You know, but one bad apple can put a taste in a lot of people's mouth. But we know what we have here, and we're proud of it, Chief. Thank you so much. Are there any comments from the public? Sure. You have a microphone, if you would get her a microphone.
So I wasn't expecting to speak today. I thought I was just going to come and listen. But I'm with a group that would like to do something with the statue in Town Park. Or not Town Park, because that's there, but in Hill Park. We're not advocating for it to be torn down or defaced or anything bad done with it. But we do think that it needs to be moved somewhere, or it needs to have something explaining its background and its history. For those of you, how many of you have read the inscription on the statue? So you know where it says the part about fighting for the cause, so white and fair? How many of you know the history of the statue? Do you know when it was erected and why it was erected? It was erected in 1908 by the United Daughters of the Confederacy. It was done in response to the ending of Reconstruction to remind black people of their place. It was originally out here, I believe, in front of where the courthouse was and near the police shack. In 1955, it was moved to Hill Park. I just feel that in today's society, especially when we say one Morgan, one Madison, the town too beautiful to burn, that it just doesn't have a place without some reason, something there to tell us why it's there, or to have it moved to a museum type setting and explained its context. We have children that are both black and white that play under the shadow of a statue that says, "So white and fair." It's not even a worthwhile piece of art in that someone sculpted it. It became very popular in the 1900s for companies. There were two in particular. One was up here outside of Atlanta and more towards Marietta, and one was in Pennsylvania to do statues for both Union and Confederate causes. All the faces on the statues are the same. The only difference on these statues is the hat, the length of the coat, and whether they have a canteen or a bedroll. And in some cases, not our statue, some of the only differences are the belt buckle. One says USA, one says CSA. They were poured into a mold and mass produced. It wasn't something that was carved out by someone's hard work and sweat. These companies saw that the UDC was making a movement in response to Jim Crow laws, and they made money off of it. I am with a group that right now we are almost 200 strong. We are advocating for a peaceful removal of the statue. And I hope to have some of us at the next city council meeting to speak. Your name? Oh, I'm Beverly Hobbs. I'm sorry, I'm a lifelong resident of Madison. I am invested in this community. My great-grandparents owned Richter Cochran. My grandfather was George Cochran. My uncle served on, my great-uncle served on the county commissioners, Bill Cochran. Bill Cochran Jr., who passed away not too long ago, was my cousin. My mother was Linda Cochran. She graduated from Morgan County High School. She was in the high school band and marched on that field. I marched on that field, and my daughter marched on that field. So I do have deep roots here in Madison, Georgia.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hobbs, for your comments.
Mr. Mayor, may I
Yes,
say
sir.
something? Yes, I want to thank you for the comments, and I didn't raise my hand. I have never read that scripture, the plaque, but I have heard this presentation on the radio, not concerning our statue, but concerning statues in period.
Yes.
And most of you know, I probably listen to more conservative radio talk shows, but it's also getting a movement by conservative type people that advocate conservatively, that for the very same reason you talked about with the Jim Crow era and why it was put up, and really it made me, I never really had a big opinion on it either way, simply because I was born in Georgia, but I was raised in the state of Washington, and when I came here, the statue was there, and the explanations that I have had previously, I would say, that shouldn't go down, that's part of our history. I think that we need to evaluate it exactly like you said, and we didn't discuss this, but as a member of the city council, I kind of support what you're talking about, okay? So I would love to hear more about it, because we need, that era is history for all of us, black, white. It was a terrible time that we went through. Slavery was terrible. It was the first time in the history of this country that there were more U.S. citizens killed in the Revolutionary War than all the wars that we have fought. And it's time, you know, it's time that we get past that. And, but we can do it in a good way. And we need to come together, and we need to share ideas, and we need to come up with something that's good for everybody. And I'll be on your side.
So what I hope, we don't want to get into a long discussion today, but we will have a work session where we'll have some time to sit down and talk about it. But thank you, Ed, for your comments. Appreciate that. Do we have anyone live stream this morning? Want to make a comment, anything? Is there anything else to come before the council? Monica? Oh, okay. If not, this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Have a good week, everybody.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
week.